Hello, everybody. Joe Malone here, coming to you live from Dallas Trading Floor. It is a Wednesday, the 5th of November, and we are plus, I guess this is the second day we haven't figured out what what is going to happen in terms of the election. So we're still working on that and don't really know. But we did have one thing very interesting happen, and that was we did have a follow-through day. And the follow-through day is very interesting. It is basically a fourth up day in a row with increasing volume. And what happens is that signals a direction change. As you know, we've been in a correction since, since about the beginning of September. We've been moving down, and it looks as if we are at a stage now where that is going to change. And so we're in a confirmed uptrend. It's time to take some of the money that you've had on the sidelines and start to move into the market once again, because this is the time when we start to see the largest increases. And definitely we've seen some very good increases on the FANGs. They had pulled off, Apple pulled off. It looks like now might be the time to come in back into the market. So let's get to the slides. Just kind of wanted to show you basically where where the Nasdaq is today. This was taken a little bit earlier. It's 11,883, and we are in a confirmed uptrend, and so it's up about $2.52. As you can see, we had 1, 2, 3. And then this is the fourth up day. So this is the fall through day. The fall through day actually happened at the end of last night. And then I sent out an action trade alert in that we were moving up. As you can see, we've pulled up strongly here. So this is signaling that a lot of the money, now that the election is over, seems to be coming back into the market. Let's take a look at the spider. And this is a critical, this is a very critical chart, in that it shows that we are now approximately where we left off, 351. The critical juncture for this, as we retake the upward trend, is about 360. Currently, the spider is up $7.63 today. As you can see, we made the turn, and then we had 1, 2, 3, and now we're at the fourth day. So this is a follow through day, and this is a confirmed uptrend. So we are now going to start retaking that movement up. So that's welcome news. Because September was a tough month when it came right down to it. We were in a downward trending market. It's very hard to make money in a downward trending market. There are ways you can do it, but typically in a downward trending market, 8 out of 10 stocks are going to lose money. So when we move to a confirmed uptrend, we're putting the odds on our favor a lot more. So it's more even. It's more of the stocks are going to move up in a confirmed uptrend. So very good thing happening. Also, we also have a similar move on the QQQ. As you can see, it's definitely moved up right to this 350. This is an important point here. We've moved up to 350. Up to about 300. If we cross about the 300 line, we will definitely be powering a lot higher. But we did have a fall through. We haven't quite had a fall through day on the QQQ, but I suspect that will be today, as we move above this 300 mark. Now we're up $7.53 when this was taken, so that is good as well. So it's time to start coming back into the market. And just for those of you who've been looking at my small portfolio, I did add an interesting stock today. I added a full position, a stock called Palantir Technologies, and it is a recent IPO, but this is a typical IPO base. It opened, it moved way up, and then it pulled way back, and then now it's been consolidating. And as you can see, there was a breakout into this blue area, which is the buy zone. And definitely bought a full position in this today. I also bought positions in several other issues IMFI is one of them. So I'll be going over my spot portfolio in just a second here. But I wanted to show you my current holdings, just so you'll know kind of where I'm coming from in that. Cloudflare, of course, I'm in that. It was up pretty strongly today. Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, I have a small interest in that. Those were already on there. Starting yesterday, I started to put my toe in. I started to put my toe in the market on Tuesday. I bought Form Factor, one position, ResMed, one position, and then today I bought IMFI, Palantir, and then for one of my other portfolios, I bought Facebook today. So I'm not fully invested, but I'm getting there. I'm trying to find the right opportunities for that to happen. Now, here's what I did on a play that I did for Facebook, and this is a short-term play. Pretty simple. Went in, purchased 100 shares, and then sold a call contract, a 300 November call, a November 20 300 call. So this is about a 15-day trade. This kind of gives you the breakdown of it. It should net approximately $1,000 for about 15 days, or about 90% annualized. 2.5% on the option, and then just a little bit on the upside. So, and this is the chart for Facebook. As you can see, this is a cup. It's not quite yet to the pivot. I bought a little bit before the pivot, and this could be a little bit dangerous. But as we're making it towards the pivot, I'm pretty confident that once it hits the pivot, then I will probably be adding more Facebook when that happens. But right now, I came in with one full position and then 100 shares, and then I sold an option on it. So that's an alternative way of making money as well. And I like to do those a lot of times with the bigger FANG stocks out there to get that kind of a look on it. So let's go to some of the questions. Thank you for holding on. Appreciate it very much. Hi, Jim. What are your thoughts on Teladoc? And what would be a good buy point? Good question. Let's kind of take a look at Teladoc to see if I can give you a good buy point. I was in Teladoc earlier a few months ago. Did quite well on it, and I think that now that we have a confirmed uptrend, it's going to be a little bit easier. Now, here's the thing about Teladoc. Let's look at the chart. Currently, we pulled back on Teladoc. Let's look at the weekly chart. That's going to give us a look at the kind of the entry on it. We are still in an ascending in an ascending base here, as you can see. But in this consolidation range here, we have pulled up basically to the 40-day line. This is not necessarily the optimal place to buy it. It's a consolidation base, not the best, but it's still not bad. It's got a relative strength of 93. Now let's kind of look carefully at sort of what is happening with with this. Currently, the cash flow is negative on this. That's not necessarily a problem on a growth stock, but just want you to be aware of that. We do have 39% fund ownership, which is excellent. We do have funds coming in, as you can see. We do have some funds coming in. 1134 in June, and then the last quarter we had 1181. So we definitely have increased fund ownership. That is very good. Now here are the competitors in the same sector. One of my all-time favorites is Vive here, and that's of course a 99. Now do we have a relative strength that high? No. With Teladoc we are at 89. So if I had to choose in this sector, I would probably choose Vive. But is there a good entry point? There is. There's actually the way you're going to have to buy this probably is on the pullback to the 50-day. Now what I would recommend you doing is waiting, watch this one, let it go over 212. Let's see if it stays over 212. That's the 40-day moving average. If it stays over 212, I think that you might have a winner. But don't buy this immediately just because it is moving back up to the up to the 40-day average. So that's the thing you've got to look out for. There was a lot of selling, and now the people are coming back into it. But 93, it's got an upward trend on the relative strength, so that's good. So I would wait until this thing sees 212, and then I would probably be in it. I know that sounds a little weird. Why would you buy something more expensive when you could buy it cheaper? Well, part of the reason you do that is so that is so that you'll get support if there's a pullback, and that's exactly what happened. There was a pullback here, and then it saw support here at at this level, and then it's been moving higher ever since. So it saw support at about 206, but I don't think you really should buy it until it's crossed above 211. So about 211 is where you want to probably buy this as it's moving higher. Now, you only want to buy an issue as it's moving higher. So that's kind of that's kind of a strange thing to do. Strange thing to go there. But look for Teladoc at about 212. If it holds that, then I think you could safely go in. You could actually go in now because it is in an upward trend, but be a little cautious on this because it's below the 50-day moving average, and typically the 50-day moving average is a line that it will typically hold on. Because there's so many programmatic traders, they will typically buy or sell at this line. So we want to see it cross above that in order to get a little bit of support there. So that's kind of how I would play it. But it's a very good issue, so I don't think you have a problem there. Bought some Yeti. Wow. Yeah, excellent. Wowee. Fantastic. Yeti was I looked at Yeti. I looked at Yeti and I was like, I looked at Yeti and I said, God, I don't know. This is a cooler company. I don't know if I can do it. Boy, look at that. 91 relative strength. Here's what I would do on that. It looks as if you have moved very nicely above the pivot, and the pivot here on the first stage consolidation basis at 55, and you're at 59. So here's what here's what I would do. I would set my stop loss up, and I would probably set it right at about this level, about 57.35. I would set my stop loss at about 57.35. So if it does pull back, you're sold out. So that's how I would do that. Congratulations, that's a very good trade. Oh, cool. Is there a double bottom forming on AMD? Another great question. Let's take a look. AMD to see if there is potentially a double bottom on that. You know what? I can see that on the daily chart here and here. That might be the case. Let's look at the weekly to see if that. Yeah, that definitely is a double bottom. That is potentially double bottom. You are absolutely right. I think you're absolutely right about that. There is a double bottom. And by the way, folks, that is a very bullish chart. Double bottoms are great. So I definitely think this looks like a very strong movement to the upside. So you're not too late for AMD. It looks like it may go higher. It's up 145 today. That is excellent. 92 relative strength. Just got a lot going for it there. 42% are funds, so that's excellent. And let's just kind of see, if we can. Let's look at the checklist. Wow, this is 100% on the checklist. You can't get better than that. So I think you're good to go on AMD. I think that's a real strong one, really strong. So let me get. I've been neglecting the people from TikTok, so here we go. Let me see if I can get a good comment here. All right, your email came. Oh, came 2 to 3 days too late. I apologize. Again, I'm having issues with the mail service, so hopefully I will be improving that. I'm going to talk to the SendFox people here. There must be something I'm doing wrong, but I did issue an action trade alert on the change in the market last night at about 1 o'clock. Well, actually, it was today. This was early in the morning, about 1:30 in the morning. So hopefully you should have gotten that if you're on the action trade alerts. Love your assessment of what do you think Tesla and Apple election surprises. Interesting. Okay. Well, I think we're through the worst of it. Let's take a look at Apple first, just because I think Apple right now is probably going to be getting a lot more love now that we're through this election uncertainty. It's so hard. That's one of the reasons why you sell into earnings, and in a big event like elections, you sometimes want to be real careful. We have very nice. We did have relatively good earnings, up 4%. A little bit, considering the blowout numbers that Apple normally does, that's less than they normally do, but it's still excellent. I do think that now that we're above the 50-day moving average, this is significant, and I do think now we're going to see a good time for it to to possibly buy it. Let's see if I can see a good on the weekly chart. Let's see if we have anywhere where we can kind of get an idea of where it is. Really, the only place you could buy it is on that 50-day line. And so really currently 115, the fact that it's moved above 115 is very significant. That was a hurdle that it had to make. It was in a trading range from about 103, 105 on up to about 113. Now that it's moved past that 115 and it's trading at 118, I think that you could comfortably come back into the issue with Apple. It's going to hit its next resistance at about 137. It's going to hit its next resistance at about 137. So I think you're pretty safe in Apple in this trend right now from about 118 up to about 137. Once it gets through 137, it may pull back a little bit. That's sort of the next resistance that it's probably going to that's probably going to happen here. So let's look at Apple again. Yeah, we had earnings up a little bit good. Sales are increasing still, so that's very good. Lots of funds in it, of course. It's it's one of the biggest of the FANGs. So I think we're back. I think we're back where we can honestly say that now it's time to maybe jump back in to Apple now that we've gone through the election. So I think that's real good. Let's look at Tesla. Of course, this is one of my favorites. I'm not in Tesla currently. I was shaken out of Tesla. It's still got a 99 relative strength, so it is doing very well. It's up $47 today. The critical movement on this is can Tesla move above this 465? If it moves above 465, then I think we're headed to 500. But we definitely have the right trend now, and so I'm more confident than I was before that we're going to move up to this 500 buy point. There's two buy points on it. There's a pocket buy point at 466, and then there's the formal buy point at 502.49. So I think we're clear. I think we're moving in the right direction. Here's the thing. I do think that right now we are going to move probably from this point 435 up to probably 466. If we can move past that, then I think we're going to 502 on Tesla. A little bit less than average volume, but still, we're still looking really good. And of course, they had a blowout quarter. They're up tremendously. But see, this is a lot of times happens after a tremendous quarter. As you can see, they had great numbers and it fell. And you think, boy, that's weird. But that's why sometimes it's a good idea to consider selling into earnings and then waiting to see how it reacts. I think we've gotten all clear on Tesla once again to move higher. So thanks for the question. I really appreciate that question as well. So let's look at XPNG. I don't know what that is. Let's see if that comes up on my screen. I don't know if that's a symbol that I have. PNG, is that right? XPNG. Let's see if no, I don't see that symbol, unfortunately, per DM Health. I apologize, I don't have it. Okay, let's look at Workhorse. Of course, Workhorse has seen KHS, I believe that is the symbol for Workhorse. Yeah, there it is, Workhorse Group. So let's take a look at that chart for Workhorse. We've turned the corner a little bit. Looks like we have I hope that you were out of this in the downtrend, but it does look like we've turned. As you can see, this was the downtrend here. It made its bottom, and then I think it's now moving higher. I like the fact that I really, before I would buy this issue, I want to wait to see it move above the 21-day exponential, and that's this green line. So I probably won't be in this, if I'm in this, and I don't know if I will be, until this is at about 19. That's where the critical, 1970 is going to be about it. So you want to see this thing move about to 1970 and then buy it there. Let's look at the checklist 6 out of 9, so that's still in the ballpark for the minimum. Let's look at the fund ownership. Yes, we're going up. That's good. So, I do think this one's turned the corner. I do think this one, but this could very well turn down again, but it does have a relative strength of 99. So I do like the fact that this looks as if it has turned the corner. And because we had a follow through day on the S&P yesterday, I'm fairly confident that this will start to move higher as we go on. So wait for this thing to come through about 1970 and then on the watch list. And then if it does, then you might want to consider getting into it again if you're interested in that area. So that's for Workhorse. So let's take, okay, so what's the next one? Okay, so that's Tesla and Apple. Resistance too strong. Yeah, well, the resistance is strong, definitely. On Tesla, there is resistance at 466 and there's resistance at 502. So now that we're in an upward trend on Tesla, those are the 2 points you have to look out for. Let's see, if I had $38 Canadian since ish, I have some profits I'm sitting on, but I'm bullish still. Okay, well, here's what you do if you are bullish and you have profits. Why not consider selling half your position? That way you can enjoy some of your gain, but you're not completely out of the issue. So that's that's can be a way to go as well to do. What's the buy point on NEO? So let's take a look at NEO just to see. NEO has been real hot as of late. I didn't buy it, but this is definitely on the watch list. This is a tough one to buy because there just hasn't really been a buy point. The only real way you're going to be able to buy this one probably is on the is on the 10-day line, and it's moved above that. So I do believe it is due for a pullback, but it's up $4 today. It's just tremendous. Now there is another issue: is earnings are in 12 days. So what you might want to do on NEO, and there really isn't a buy point on NEO that I can give you. There just isn't a formation on it. But the way you might play NEO is buy it today, hold it, try to hold it for about 14 days, sell it right before earnings. I think that might do well. It's starting to get some interest by some of the analysts in the West. So NEO is probably going to move higher. Absolutely, it's probably gonna move higher. Okay, so renewable energy stocks are way up. Thoughts on SP and BE? They're almost okay. Yeah, and of course this is the sympathy for this is. I'd be a little bit careful on this because the election is still being contested. If Biden wins, absolutely, this is going to go higher. But it may pull back if Trump in some way pulls it out. I don't know what's going to happen on that. So would I buy this? Well, it's a good chart pattern, but I just don't like this chart that much. So I probably would not be a buyer of BE. I probably would not be a buyer of BE on this. It almost pulled back to the 200-day moving average. So I don't, even though it does have an upward trend, which is definitely it's definitely what you're looking for. Is an upward trend. We have been in a downward motion here. So I am not as bullish on BE. So let's take a look at the other issue that you indicated here. PWR. Let's look at PWR. And PWA, Quanta Services, and it's basically a contractor for the pipeline and the electrical industry. This is kind of like a lineman company. I like this. I like this chart a lot better than BE. This is a services company, and I do think that I think this is a good area because regardless, this has been a trend with many of the large ISOs, independent system operators in the electrical industries. They do contract out a lot of their maintenance, and these people are definitely in a position to take advantage of that. We do have a very nice trend here. 94 relative strength, that is excellent. and we did just have a largest volume since the first base. So there's a lot of interest in this issue right now. Fund ownership is tremendous. Checklist is good. Boy, I tell you, out of these two, this is the one you want. PWR. You don't. This is far superior to BE, and this is a good stock. This is a good stock. 52% fund ownership. So, if I were looking at two of those, I would go with PWR. I think it's it'll give you more bang for the buck, and we're in a good portion. We're a good time with that industry. So I think that would work very well for you. But and I know they're moving fast, but PWR I think is where you want to be. Mega Homes. So here we go. Buy point on Twitter. Interesting. I think that Twitter may see some now that the election is over. It may see some real interesting action. The question is, what is the political situation? Because Twitter could get hurt if there were investigations, and I think that is coming. Earnings per share is up 12%. That's excellent, but there is a pullback. I would like to see this thing move above the 50-day, but it's right at the 50-day. So is there a place to buy this? Let's look at the weekly chart to see if there is any. Yeah, okay, you could buy this off the 40-day line. We have definitely moved, on the weekly chart. We have, we definitely have a trend, and it's right up that 50-day moving average. 89 is the relative strength, so that's definitely in there. Let's look at some of the other characteristics here. Excellent cash flow. The funds are 44%, and they're increasing, so that's very good. We had it looks as if we had the September numbers. The June numbers were not so hot, but the September numbers looking good. So, I have to say, where would I go with it? Would it be Pinterest? Would it be C Limited, Snap? I like them all. I like them all. I probably would pick Snap over Twitter right now. Just my personal opinion. Let's look at Snap just to see. Snap has a very good chart. So let's look at Snap. This is as you can see, this is a better chart. Snap has a better chart that has the beginning of what they call a high tight flag. Let's look at the daily to see if I'm right about that. Yes, I am. You see, we had this gap up here on tremendous earnings. This is going to go higher. Snap is going to go higher. Now it's pulled back a little bit, but this is going to be an action trade alert probably because this is the one you want as opposed to Twitter. I think you want Snap. This is almost definitely going higher. Let's look at the weekly chart. Let's just do the kind of the smell test on it. The funds are moving up nicely. We've had nice profitability. Sales are improving. We're still not revenue positive. I mean, we're still not profitable, but we're getting very, very close. I just think that Snap is looking very good. It's got a 98 relative strength and an 8 out of 9 on the checklist. This is a good stock. I think that this is going to give you more bang for the buck than Twitter. I think Snap is where you want to be. I do think that we may see this kind of thing potentially by the end of the year go as high as $60-65 a share. So pretty strong with Snap. I'm going to put that down on the watch list for Snap. And that probably, I'm just trying to find a place to buy it, but I think that's the one you would do better in with Twitter. Not that Twitter is bad, it's just that I think Snap is just ready to pop higher. What do you think of Alibaba and JD? I love JD. JD was on my list on my action trade alerts this morning. I did not buy it. I had to make a decision. I bought IMFI instead. Just it's a little bit safer move. But JD is up $10 today. It's tremendous. As you can see, it's a blue dot, which is the best. This is just performed beautifully. It's moved above this level. It's pulled back. It's just slightly extended from the pivot. It's slightly extended from the pivot. I have that in my watch list. I want to show you that. That went in my watch list yesterday, JD.com. Unfortunately, we're extended. We're just barely extended. Yeah, we're extended in everything. We're extended in Palantir, we're extended in Teradyne, and we're extended in JD. Those are the ones that I put on. Those are the ones I put on yesterday, and they've all moved up. Imphy is a little bit slow. It's in a buy zone, but it's not extended. So probably picked the wrong ones here, but it is what it is. I did move into Palantir today, Palantir and Imphy. I'm up a little bit. I'm 2% today, so that's not bad on that. But it is a strong day today, so that's why that's happening. So interesting on that. By the way, if you are interested in seeing, this is a portfolio that I trade. These are actual real trades. Nothing held back. Exactly what I made, what I lost, the whole thing, and the watch list. And in order to to get a link to that, and it's just a Google sheet, so it's easy to get the link to it. You just go over to the website, and this is what the website looks like. Dallas Trading Floor. Now, this little fill in here, free trade alerts, that's for the free trade alerts, and that's like I sent out one last night on that. But there's also another sign up for a different list, and that's the link list. And then I'll send you out a little link, first and last name and email, hit the submit. Of course, it's all free, and you could cancel anytime you like, but this will give you a link that you'll be able to look at the small portfolio and how I'm trading it real time. So that's kind of a fun thing to do. If you're looking for some trade ideas that maybe your watch list, you might want to augment your watch list a little bit as well. Shopify. Oh, Shopify has been the gift that keeps on giving. Shopify pulled back kind of like Amazon, but I think we're back. I think we're back on Shop. Let's take a look at it. It pulled, it has this cup with handle formation. That's on the daily chart. Let's look at the weekly chart to get a better idea kind of strategically. Yeah, we had the cup with handle. We've pulled back. We're now above the 40-day line. I like it there. I do think that this is ready to make a move. It's up $110 a day. That is just phenomenal, folks. That is phenomenal. 96 relative strength. Can you buy it at this level? It's 100% checklist. Wow. I think you can, actually. It's not technically in a buy zone. The buy point on this one is a cup with handle buy point 1130, but I think you could buy this as it moves towards the cup with handle. It looks like it's going to pull up, and it looks like we have another at least 100. We may have another 10% up on this one. This is very, very strong. The only drawback here is the volume. It's not as strong as I'd like to see it, but it looks like going into the end of the year. This one too, boy, I tell you, it's amazing how an uptrending market makes such a difference. Most all of these issues just a few days ago just weren't cutting the mustard because of the downtrend. That's why when it reverses from a marketing correction to a confirmed uptrend, that's when you want to put on the gas, because that's when many of the best buys are. So, okay, GBTC is a new best friend. CT. I think it's GBTC is what you're talking about. Your new best friend. Yeah, this one's pulled very nicely. By the way, this is in the small portfolio, and I recommend this one basically last week, and so we've done well. We basically came into it at about when it crossed the 50-day line on a small cup formation, and then it's been moving up ever since. I do think, though, it's going to see a little bit of resistance at about $17, and we're $17.17 right now. But I think this can move up easily to the $37 mark. But it's probably going to pull back a little bit before it does that. But I think the trend, at least as far as I can tell here, the trend on GBTC is up on that. We may get some pullbacks. We probably pull back to this line and then up like a seesaw until we get up to about this line here. which is about the 34.50 mark on that. So that's going to kind of give us an idea of how I do think that was going to trade. So GBTC, this is an interesting ETF. They hold about 4% of the world's ETF Bitcoin, and this is a good way to pay Bitcoin, because even even if we get a resolve on the election, which I hope we will get before the end of the week, I do think that there's going to be a greater demand for Bitcoin, just because there are currency issues. We may be getting in that second stimulus package. Don't know on that, but there is a little bit of concern on the on the currency. So Bitcoin is a good way to play that, and the easiest way to play that, the most seamless way to play that, is the GBTC, which is the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. So let's see. Can you provide feedback on Diamondback Energy? Let me see what the symbol is on that. It's Diamd Energy. Almost nothing in the energy sector right now is good, unfortunately. Let's see if I can give. It's in Midland, beautiful Midland, Texas. Okay. Where is the? Oh, Viper. Okay, I see. Okay, thank you very, very much. I'd forgotten. I'd forgotten it was Viper, Viper. And there we go. Okay, is we gonna get Viper? No. Let's see if I can get in there with Viper, Viper. Is that right? Let's see. Or VIPR, is that? Okay, how does it trade? FANG. I'm sorry, it trades as FANG. Viper, I can't remember what it traded at. FANG, FANG. It's not a FANG stock, it is the stock with the symbol FANG. So I got that wrong. There we go, Diamondback Energy. No, I hope you're not in this issue. I just don't think this is where you want to be right now. It's just not a good story. We have a downward trend here that I think is fairly severe, as you can see. We have a relative strength of a 2, not good. Even though we've pulled up, I think if you're in this thing, I think you want to leave. 4 out of 9. Yeah, the fund ownership. You just don't want to be in this one. I'm sorry about that. Hopefully, the oil business is going to firm up a little bit when the economy reopens here in the United States and the rest of the world. But right now, you don't want to be in the oils. It's just there's too much oil chasing too few customers right now. Believe it or not, we're in an oil glut, and so I don't think you want to be there. I just don't think you want to be in that issue. Jim, tomorrow may be a sell-off day since it's Friday. Yeah, it possibly will be, but I think that because we've changed direction, I do think we're going to see some. It depends on the election, but I do think we're going to see some solid selling into, possibly into the weekend. But I just don't think we're going to be sell-off as normal. So I don't expect as much of a sell-off tomorrow, as has been the case. So I think that's why. Is NEO a buy? I certainly think it is. I certainly think it is. But let me just see. Let's look at all the statistics here to make sure. Because it's all about the statistics and not about what we don't want to think. We don't want to guess. We want to know. And let's look at the criteria. It's got an excellent checklist. It's 88% on the checklist. It only one area that's falling down, and that's earnings per share. And part of the reason is because they are not making. Obviously they're still in a loss position. But let's look at that. They reported an excellent last quarter, up 140% in terms of the profit. So, is there a buy point on this? I think so. I would like to see this pull back a little bit below 40, but you may not be able to see it below 40. So I would buy this. I would try to buy it. I don't think you want to buy it at the market price today. Wait for a pullback, but you might be waiting a long time for a pullback. So I definitely think it is a buy. Just remember, if you do buy this, you need to set a stop loss because this could pull back on you very hard as well. DCBO. Let's look at DCBO. DCBO. And see if we can get that. Oh, did I get that right? DCBQ, maybe? DCBQ. No, that's not it either. DCBO. DCBO. I don't have a symbol for that. Sorry. Oh, hey, Mohammed. Thanks for saying it. Is it a good time to put some money in the TQQQ? That is a good question. You know, for everybody out there, there's these two companion ETFs. One is called the SQQQ, and the other one is called the TQQQ. And basically, they're two sides of the same coin. And that is, they leverage the return on the Qs. So if the Qs go up 1, the TQQQ, if it's going up, will go up 3. That's what they say. And if the QQQ is going down 1, the SQQQ will go up 3. So it's 3 times leverage. The Qs are shorting the QQQ. The SQQQ is shorting the Qs, and the TQQQ is going long the Qs. So that all said, yes, we moved up nicely today. We moved up over $30 on the TQQQ. Anytime there is this is a very good play, by the way. Anybody out there? I didn't make this play because I knew about this play, but I didn't pull the trigger on it. But anytime you have a market direction change, we moved from a market under pressure, a market in correction, to a confirmed uptrend. Whenever that happens, the next day, the TQQQ usually goes up significantly, and that's definitely the case here. It was up $33 today. Now, the question is, will it continue to move higher? I think it could. I think it could pull back, but I think it could move above 160, 167. So there might be some juice here towards the end of the week, but be really careful about this one because this can turn against you in a very, 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 very quickly. So always, if you buy this thing, continuously put in your stop loss, move that up, keep about a 5% gap in there. But if you buy this thing, put your stop loss in because these can snap back, and boy, when they do, it can be brutal. But yes, the TQQ in a rising market is a good thing. So thank you for that. Kahoot, KHOTF. I've never heard of that. This must be a penny stock. And typically I don't like to trade stocks that are under that are under $10, and the reason I don't is because typically they are less stable. And but you say, well, gosh, if a stock is $2 and it goes to $4, that's 100% gain. That is true, but it is easy. It's easier to make money with better stocks and fewer shares of them. So it's just an easier way to play. So I typically don't buy issues that are under $10. It's just something that I've learned over time to do. Now, have I bought stuff and made money on under $10 stocks? You better believe I have, but it is harder to do. All right, so let's look at Apple again. We covered Apple before, but let's kind of revisit it. I think that this is the one now. I think it finally may have turned the corner. Because it was pulled down so much, and I think it definitely is now going to probably move above the 50-day moving average, and that's currently where we're seeing it right now on the weekly chart. Let's look at the daily chart to see if there's any entry points here on Apple. Yeah, we've pulled above the 40-day line, so we definitely are in a uptrend on Apple. As you can see, we've turned the corner on it. I think that it could easily move very easily. It's going to see resistance at about the 125 level. So I think that we have potentially $5 upside probably by the beginning of next week on this stock. And then I think it will hit a little resistance right at this 125 level. But it's up strongly today, $4.08. Considering the size of this stock, that's pretty tremendous. As well. So there's definitely is a little bit more to go on Apple, I think, in the very, very short term. All right. So your thoughts on BYDDF? I don't think that these are sound like stocks that are trading on maybe the Toronto. Typically, a stock symbol only has four or less letters, so I don't think I'm going to be able to pull those up, unfortunately. Let's look at on the TSX. Oh, okay. Look at AT. Unfortunately, but I don't have access to the Toronto. I don't. I only have access to and I apologize for that. I don't have access to the Toronto Exchange at the moment. I'm looking. at that in the future. Beyond Meat, BYND, and Beyond Meat has been pretty excellent. Let's look at that issue. I haven't visited that in a few weeks, and I'm currently not in. that issue, but it looks like it has turned the corner as well. It looks like it saw its low basically about here at about the 120 142 level. It looks as if we are moving higher on Beyond Meat. So that looks, that does look good. It looks like we have turned the corner there. Yeah, it looks like we have turned the corner and we're headed higher. Now, this probably will. If the place to buy that is above the is above the 150-day moving average, which currently is at 158. So get ready to buy this one. Get this in your watch list. Set an alarm. If this thing moves convincingly tomorrow with decent volume above 158, I think you could buy this one, and then basically up to about 195, 197. That's what it's looking like here. The only issues, though, is it's kind of not the greatest place to buy this. It's got earnings in 4 days. So here's what I would do with Beyond Meat. I wouldn't buy it right now. I'd put it on the watch list and see how it trades through earnings. It probably will pull back a little bit through earnings, even if they have a profit. Let's check. Let's kind of check things here. They've had good profits as of late. I mean, their sales are moving up. This is for a growth stock, this is the most important thing. Earnings per share, important obviously, but the most important thing typically are sales, and sales have moved up nicely for Beyond Meat. Now, what group is it in? It is in, nothing quite has this level of relative strength. This is 89, so this is a top in this group. This is top. Iowa beef producer, all these ones, Call Me Foods, all these have nothing near the relative strength that Beyond Meat does. This is a much better chart. Now, tactically, I probably wouldn't buy this at this moment. I would wait until we cross the first stage cup with handle. So I would wait for earnings on this one and see if it moves above 167.16. If it moves above 167.16, that is the buy point, and that's where you want to buy it. So BYND buy point is equal to, and I'm going to put this out on the chat here in just a second, 167.16. 167.16. And what this means basically is that if it can move through this buy point, it's probably going to go higher. So so that's that's the story with Beyond Meat. So don't buy it into earnings. Wait 4 days. It's going to be reporting next week. See how it reports. It probably will pull back, but then it will start moving higher. If it moves up to the buy point, and if it moves up to that buy point, then I think you want to consider making, moving into it as well. So let's look at. Thanks, Arnold, for waiting. Baba. This is Alibaba, and I think you're going to see a pretty good chart on this one. This is the largest e-tailer in China. Of course, everybody knows that. And these are the ADMs, the American Depository Receipts. It's pulled back a little bit to the 50-day line. There is, unfortunately, a very large selling action in here. But let's look at the daily chart, because I don't think that's totally telling the tale yet. No, we do have some pullback after earnings. I think that you want to be careful on this one. I wouldn't buy it until it was in a confirmed uptrend. I don't think you can buy Alibaba right now until we see it bottom. It has not bottomed. So there's really no buy point on this one. This is a watch list, and wait for the reversal on this one. This is still moving down. We have two very, very large sell-off days. This is a sell signal here, by the way, on this chart. I just want to kind of point it out to you. I kind of want to point out this to you here. This is the volume. Oops. Let's see if I can get that in there, right? Yeah, there we go. So these two volume spikes here, they're far above the median here, and this is an exponential chart, by the way. So there is institutional selling going on with BABA right now. The relative strength is also, as you can see, moving downward, and that is not what we want to see as well on this indicator here. It's 89 relative strength, but it was higher. So it looks as if we have fallen through the 40-day line, the 50-day line. This, unfortunately, is not a buy at this time. We have this action. So the current trend is downward on Alibaba. So I can't recommend Alibaba for you right now, Arnold. Sorry, but I think it's going lower based on that. Okay. So let's look at AYX. Let's look at AYX to see if there's anything in there. And that's it does data analytics, and it's data analytics program self-service. It looks as if it is due for earnings basically tomorrow. Not a good day to buy it. Don't buy it before earnings. Wait until after earnings. I think that this one may pull back to the 200-day. That's what kind of looking like it is to me. It's only got a 56 relative strength. Be careful on this one. Yeah, this is a 5 out of 9. This is not a buyable as it is now. You might want to watch this one, but I don't think that this one is one you don't want to buy this one. Wait until earnings, see what happens. I think you're probably going to see a reversal on earnings, but you never know. I mean, it could not reverse on earnings. The sales have been moving up, but they have decelerated a little bit, and this is very important in terms of growth stocks. Profitability is not nearly as important in a growth stock as increase in sales is. And this does have a positive cash flow, which is good. So it's turned the corner on that. So that's very good. It does also have a lot of funds in this, but they are decreasing. This is not a good sign. In June, they had 525 funds in. September, 491. So the number of funds that are in this have been decreasing. This is not a good sign. So this is not bullish right now, even though we do have a pattern that is potentially will move higher. I think you have to really be cautious on AYX. I just don't think, based on the chart that I'm seeing, I don't think it's where you want to be. Did you add Tesla? I didn't add Tesla today. I am basically on Tesla. What I'm waiting for is to see if it can break resistance at 466. That is the next key resistance level for Tesla. I want to see if it can move past that. If it can, then I'm probably a buyer. But right now, I'm waiting for it to move beyond 466. That's essentially a pocket pivot for Tesla. Let me show you the chart on that one, just so that you kind of get the idea. I'm going to show you the daily chart for Tesla to show you where those resistance points are. This is the first resistance point right here. Oops, see if I can get that to, there we go. That's the first resistance point there, and we're below that, and we've got a good trend on this, which I like. The trend is we have an upwards trend on it made the reversal. It's pulled back, and that's moving up. So this is where I see resistance on the first pivot. Obviously, the second one and the most important buy point is this one right here, 502.49. So I want to see it move past this first resistance bar into this area, and then past that, of course, and that's a buy. So I'm really waiting for Tesla to make the move above 466 before I'm going to add anymore. I was pulled out. I was snapped out of my position. I haven't gone back in, so I've been a little bit careful. I did cover NEO earlier, so I'm gonna pass on that one. Let's see, hold or sell EA or SQ. Let's take a look. It depends obviously where you buy it. Let's look at Square first, which I think is interesting. I think Square has definitely turned the corner in terms of, I mean, it's moving higher. It, like with everything else, it pulled back. This is what I was talking about with the this is what I was talking about with the correction. This was the correction. We have since made this this motion. It started before the correction, but we have moved above the 50-day, we've moved above the 21-day, and we've moved above the 10-day. So that's all very good. So this is the trend now on Square. But let's look to see. It's still got an excellent checklist, 7 out of 9, and it does have increasing fund ownership, which is good. And it's got a 97 relative strength. So I definitely could be relatively bullish on Square at this point. I do think it is important to buy it. I think the fact that it's moved above the 50-day is good. I think it's buyable at this point. Now, is there any particular buy point on it? No. The last buy point on it, the last true buy point on it was a cup about 20, and the last true buy point was about 83, and it's currently at 175. So we're pretty extended from that. So you could see this thing reverse down very, very sharply. So I would be very careful with Snap. I'm not with Snap, but Snap I like. I'd be very careful with Square at this point. I think it's a little bit high, and I think it's a little bit extended, unfortunately, on that. Let's see if I can take a call from DraftKings. This is from TikTok. Thanks for looking at it from TikTok. So let's look at DraftKings, and I think DraftKings. I think DraftKings might be the ticket because, it's okay, it's down, but it looks like it's pulled back up. We're almost at the buy point for DraftKings. This is definitely a watch list here. We have a 98 relative strength. We've pulled back almost to the consolidation buy point at 44.79. We're at 43.03. It's up $7 today. Wow, this one probably, if this can move higher tomorrow, this is probably a buy if we can move higher tomorrow. We want to buy this one at the at the pivot, and the pivot is 44.79. So let me put that out there on the chat. DraftKings DKNS buy point is equal to 44.79. So if it can move past that resistance, then I think we have something that is quite significant, and I think it will move higher. I do like DraftKings. I've been a fan of DraftKings. It does have a lot of things going for it. Good 35% funds, which is excellent. It is still not profitable, but the sales have been moving up, and they didn't have anything prior to the last 2 quarters, but the movement has been in the right direction. I do think that online gambling is going to be the thing because places are going to be slow to open up, and I just don't. I think the physical gaming is troubled, but I think that the online gaming could be really good. Imphy. I bought Imphy this morning on a breakout. Let's see how it did. IMPI. I don't know if I can get that up here. Here we go. IMPI. Is that right? Imphy? Nope. Let me pull it as IMPI. There we go. IPHI. I'm sorry. IPHI. Imphy Semiconductor. Okay, yeah, looks good. Looks like it is done kind of what I was hoping. Relative strength's 93. We had a lot of buying. We had very good earnings. That's so that off a cup formation. So that there's a pivot, and the pivot is basically. Let's see if we have that. It's cup with handle pivot at 125.83. So we are above that. Just very nice. This was a gap up. Yeah, and as you can see, the new resistance is at 142. So Very, very nice. I was a buyer of MFI today, and we did finish out pretty nicely. So let me just check to see over in the small portfolio how we did on MFI. MFI, yeah, we're up 2% today. So from where I bought it, so that's looking pretty good. I still think it is buyable. We're getting a little bit extended on it though, which is what I don't like. So let me go down to the watch list and check to see if we are still extended. No, we're still in the buy zone. This is still buyable. MFI is still buyable, but probably not for much longer because it's going to move above the buy zone, it looks like. Well, thank you everyone for tuning in today. I'll be back tomorrow at 2:30. And if you want to get on the if you are watching on YouTube, if you're watching us on YouTube, please like and subscribe to us. That would be very, very nice. And if you want to get the free action trade alerts, just go to www.Dallas Trading Floor. And until tomorrow, happy trading.